Many years ago, when I was in Florida, I visited the laboratory of Thomas Edison, which is now a museum. And one of the fascinating things about Thomas Edison, and also actually many other creative minds like Salvador Dali, was the use of something known as hypnagogic sleep. So, what Edison would do is in the afternoon, he had this reclining chair. In fact, I remember seeing this reclining chair at the museum. And he would kind of semi lie down. It's a semi reclining chair. He'd lie down in that chair and he'd hold a steel ball in one of his hands. And then he'd allow himself to drift into sleep. And of course, at some point, as he was about to fall asleep, his hands would loosen up and the ball would fall to the ground, making a sound, and he'd wake up. And then he'd get back to whatever work he was doing. And he found this brief interlude into sleep. It's almost like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, just into the beginnings of sleep, to be a highly creative period. And sometimes he would get powerful inspirations from these gentle sojourns into the twilight zone between waking and sleeping. And Salvador Dali did the same. He would use a spoon instead of a ball, and he would just gently enter the state of hypnagogic sleep. And as the spoon would fall, he would wake up and try to recollect what he was thinking just before that. And recently, scientists have also tried this. They've given mathematical problems to people, and they got one group to just try to solve it, and they got the other group to try this method of hypnagogic sleep. And usually, the ones who tried hypnagogic sleep were much more successful at solving those mathematical challenges and puzzles than those who didn't. So I felt like sharing this with all of you and see if it's something you want to experiment with. The benefits of hypnagogic sleep. The trick is to wake up just as you're about to enter deeper sleep. Because once you enter deeper sleep, chances are you'll forget what you were accessing at the very beginning. So for this, you can hold a plastic cup or a steel spoon or anything else that when it falls will make something of a noise and rouse you from the sleep. And that's where you ask yourself, what was I thinking just before I got up? And chances are there'll be some really creative ideas there. You can ask yourself the question of what it is you're trying to resolve just before getting into the process. And chances are you're going to get some very creative, vivid ideas. So experiment with this idea, this practice of hypnagogic sleep, and see what it does for you. Wonderful.